Hey, great Tuesday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville, Texas, and I am caught in the middle of a dental visit. That is one of the reasons why I am in a different setting and not necessarily where I used to be. I am most definitely not at the studio, but we're still here, and at the end of the day, that is what is important. Uh, there does anyone know if there's any issue in regards to this show being streamed on Facebook? I think it is being streamed on Facebook because I think I see a couple of people already there. I got this notification saying that the show is not going to be Facebook, but it is. So that's actually a good thing. We'll see how far it goes. Today tonight we were going to have Commissioner Jessica Tetrow on. We'll see if she comes on. Uh, we'll talk a little bit about what went on today at the meetings. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Hola, a lavender flower. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hola, Alfonso, Alfonso. Good evening. And while we wait to see if someone comes on, I'll share some of the information that we learned today at the meeting. Good evening, Eduardo. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thanks for sacrificing even your health and condition with the flight. Thank you with the flight and the flight. Saludos al dentista. Gracias. No voy a ver al dentista hasta el día de mañana, Dios mediante. Pero mando los saludos de parte de ustedes. You are freezing. Not too much, but it is kind of the colder weather. Guys, today we had a quick little city commission meeting. One of the things that we were reminded today at the city commission meeting was that we are going to have the board vote in favor of the moratorium, where a lot of the individuals that are going to get the disconnection notices and anything else that has to do with late fees for PUB bills placed on hold from here until February. Today was, if I'm not mistaken, the second reading, so everything is going to be okay. One of the other things that we learned today at the meeting was we did have one of the board members, PUB board member, Patricio Sampaio. Uh, Thank you. I am feeling a little bit halfway better, not too great. I think Facebook is not playing your video. Yes, that is one of the things that I did learn today. Good evening. Good evening. It sounds good, and we see you clearly. No worries. Yeah, Facebook is not working. So I appreciate everyone that is coming on to Facebook. I did get a little notification, good little notification that it wasn't going to be on the working side. Um, so everyone out there is going to have to jump on. Yeah, going to have to jump on YouTube. Like the page. Yes, please like the page. Good evening. Good evening. And again, guys, everyone move to YouTube. It's kind of a trippy deal because it seems like anything and everything that could go wrong has gone wrong tonight. I'm not in the studio. I'm dealing with my bowler. Commissioner Detroit is a little bit on the late side, and we're not on Facebook. Kind of seems like the days and times where we got thrown in Facebook jail. Good news. Thanks for representing. Thank you so much. Uh, 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 uh. Voted for you today, and Carlos. Karina, if you would go to YouTube, if you can hear me, go to YouTube. Sorry about that, guys. YouTube is going to be where we're going to be at tonight. Good evening, Erasmo. Otro viaje. Fees and disconnections should be held for as long as Tanaska was ripping people off. Well, let me say this. One of the things that I'd hope that they would consider doing is that hold off on all disconnections and on all fees, late fees, until every single dime that was taken from the community of the city of Brownsville is returned. It's just that simple. Look, guys, one of the things that they mentioned today, one of the things that they mentioned tonight was how a lot of the money that they took from the Tanaska deal basically is all gone. somewhere in the upwards of $100 million. Where are those $100 million? Where are those $100 million? They need to be returned. I can't see anything, Karina. Jump over to YouTube and like that page. Not only like that page, it'd be kind of good if people just stayed on that page, because one of the things, yeah, people are sending me messages. I can't load. I can't load. Yeah. First time on YouTube, like the page. Yes, guys. If you would, don't mind, please like that YouTube page. Still waiting for Commissioner Detro to come on. And so it's good. Get on YouTube, folks. Press the like button. Said it first. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. But if everyone is on YouTube, press that thumbs up. Yes, please. That'd be nice. It's cool. It will all work out for good. I'm praying. Lots of other videos are not working on Facebook, not just yours. Yeah, it's a glitch with Facebook. It's not necessarily just our page or our YouTube. Sorry. Can't vote for BISD, but support Carlos Elizondo. Thank you. I appreciate that. As long as you vote for me, I think I'm going to be good. Hey, well, you're going to get a steak with an increased viewership through your YouTube. Well, hey, let me tell you, maybe it's my turn to get steak and lobster. Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. Came over from Facebook. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all coming over from Facebook. YouTube is a little bit better on the anyway. Momento. So let's go. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How can we recover or our losses over the years if it's all spent? How can PUB make it up? Lower our rates for the future? No, because let me say, it's not fair. Because one of the things that I think a lot of the individuals who were going out there and stating was, what's going to happen to a lot of the individuals that paid into the Tanaska deal had to move away. There's got to be a way to have accountability in regards to what exactly happened to all that money, guys. I mean, they've got to come up with a formula. They got to come up with a solution somehow or other. It's not just like, well, let's just give up. We can't give anybody their money back, and nobody gets it. All the money spent, since there was clear intent and money was for Tanaska, shouldn't there have been a vote to redirect money? Just curious. Well, at least inform the stakeholders. This is my concern. Who gave them the power or the authorization to use our money that was being set aside for the Tanaska deal in order to do the other little pet projects that they had in mind? Take into consideration a lot of the stuff that is dictated on the audit. It makes mention that these individuals knew very well who put money in their pocket. Show us the money. Where is it? That's all we want. Show us that money. Can we vote on Saturday and Sunday for anybody? Saturday, yes. I'm not too sure about Sunday. I need to check. Part of the $1 million is staring right at us from that building and the raises. PDZ is 100% correct. Look, guys, you don't have to go far to find out where exactly part of that money went to. There's a big old fugly building on the backside of the old PUB building, unnecessary building that was built apart with the Tanaska money. We did not agree to have our rates raised by 42%, guys, in order to have an annex building that is 100% not needed. Unnecessary. Thanks for asking for it all. They took it all, invested it, kept the interest, and like Zeke said, they were very generous to so many, especially to themselves, with our money. That is exactly right. 100% on point. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you. You're well. I am well. A little bit of pain, but I'm still okay. 78 people watching. Only 2 likes. Guys, like that damn page. Please, if you would. Uh, it is the only way that generates uh, funds for this program. Click on the like or on the dislike. Either one is okay. I don't have access to see it because I am on strictly on StreamYard. And we do have Commissioner Tetro with us today. How you doing, Commissioner?
My
Huh?
audio isn't working.
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
You might have it on.
Let me try this on my laptop. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
How come I can't hear you?
because I'm silent but deadly.
Let me.
Let's go out through the comments while Commissioner gets her.
I'm downloading Chrome on my laptop.
Perfect.
Okay.
Homicide Tro comes on. She has to go out with a bang. Do the right thing. Yeah. Commish.
I agree.
Yeah, you there. Yeah, good job. Vote for Erasmo.
Maybe somebody cut the audio.
It's those technicians at Tanaska. Vote for Erasmo. We need someone on the city board, county board, to represent us and keep us all posted. It's very happy to vote for him. Thank you. It's the county. Just went to Facebook. Seems to be working now. Oh, good. Awesome. Then we should have an increased viewership. Start the rolling back the raises. Bonuses need to charge back 10% of their paycheck. Get rid of Brusiak's job and replace lower paying interim to get rid of the positions temporary. Good.
Okie dokie. Oh, man.
There's Jamie. The city of Brownsville also got a big cut. I want the spreadsheet shared too. City got some splaining to do. Commissioner?
Ooh, okay.
Well, she's getting her Chrome up.
I'm going to log out and log in on the laptop. I got it.
And that was Commissioner Jessica Tetro. We'll see what happens. I liked it. Thank you, Chrissy. Do you really mean that what you said yesterday, Dasmo? You're not a peacemaker. You're a rebel rouser. You live for the drama and attention. Keeps your audience entertained. Uh, no, I think you're misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. Is in this case, let me tell you, Mr. Nobody, one of the things that we have seen throughout the community, there's a lot of angry people out there. And what I've been trying to do, and I think people are witness to it, I've been trying to keep folks calm and not to exceed the request of what is just and what is fair. And look, I understand that the right thing to do is to give everyone their money back with interest, because that's what a lot of people are asking for. What I'm saying is, guys, let's get back what was taken from us. And by us, I mean anyone that paid into this Tanaska mess in the past 10 years. That's the only thing that I'm asking for. That's what I meant in regards to being a peacemaker. Look, I don't know if it keeps individuals entertained. I think we keep individuals informed. And I think, a lot of times there's actually a passage in scripture that says you may do it for this, you may do it for this, you may do it for this. As long as the message comes across, that's all that matters, bro. Love you. Beautiful Jessica. Sheila. Generous with themselves, but ruthless with the struggling, vulnerable people on small fixed income. This I agree. Commissioner, how you doing?
Hi, friends. How are you?
You here as well?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and actually, this is a better picture than the other one.
It's because it's my new laptop. I was using my computer that's like 10 years old that I already gave to Austin, my 6-year-old. And he has like all these Roblox viruses. So I think
He's probably out there downloading all those games and stuff.
I hope not. But I think that's what happened because his computer is like fried.
Well, as long as he's not that age. Let me tell you, I saw him at the other day at event they were having in Market Square. My God, he is so tall. I
Yeah.
remember when estaba bien chiquitito, and now, my God, he is like 6 foot tall.
Yeah. He was
He's
born.
huge.
He
As
was
long as he's downloading games and not downloading other stuff, we're gonna be okay.
I
Ah,
know. I know.
he's at that age.
It's hard having kids because, like, nowadays they're always on the computer and you never really know what they're getting into or who they're talking to, who they're conversing with. So, parenting these days is a lot harder than it was just even 10 years ago.
I agree, and the only kids I have to deal with are my dentist kids.
Your cats.
No, my dentist's kids. But
Oh,
I only deal with them like for 20 minutes at a time. Then I go like, váyase con su papá.
yeah. There you go.
I did the smart thing. You can vote at community center at Cameron Park Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5. Thank you, Ms. Woody. Appreciate that. Hello. Oh, hello. Oh, county board. Yeah, county board. Yeah, please. She reminded me to move my manguera to the other side of the yard. I'm not sure that's you or me. Good evening, Erasmo. I'm one of her constituents. Jessica, you haven't responded to what's going on with all those trucking companies.
That's a city issue. Yeah.
You heard her, she figured it out. We've done it, got it done. Saludos, compadrito. Hola, Iva, and hermoso Iva figures it out. Yeah, well, she got it working now. I hope U.S. Marshals investigate Cameron County judge. That will be interesting. Yes. Let me say, I actually got some information today that some U.S. Marshals had been visiting the judge's office. Uh, Again, I could not confirm, uh, but that that they're very interested. Let me say, guys, uh, I think a lot of people are interested in law enforcement taking their steps. Commissioner, one of the things that had been mentioned already was I think Commissioner Roy de los Santos had mentioned, and I think even it was mentioned in the City Commission. Law enforcement has been notified.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. And even before it went public, um, they have been working on this. So, I mean, I don't know the details. I don't know if it's a case they have. I don't know, but I do know that everything we found was turned over.
Was
And public to
that
know, I did participate in the audit.
was that at the state level or at the federal level?
I believe it was turned into both.
Yes, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds okay, and that sounds right because I would dare say that there is going to be some state investigation, and then some federal entities that might have little bits of money involved, and that's the only time that they actually get involved is when there's a federal money involved. But let me ask you something, Commissioner. One of
Yeah.
the things that we did learn, we did hear from the City Commission was from the PUB was that they were questioning some of the facts on the audit. Don't you consider that a slap in the face after the city of Brownsville paid 160,000 plus dollars for that audit?
It's a double-edged sword. There might be some things that are like an opinion or something that are in there that somebody might differ with. But the fact of the matter is, the fact of the facts, the minutes of the meetings are there. The slides that were presented are there, and there's no disputing that. There's no disputing that all of these homes and ratepayers were charged and that the project didn't come, and that at the time they were told they should have come to the commission and been upfront and honest, and the commission at that time should have taken action. So you can dispute, but you cannot dispute the end of what happened.
One of the things that was mentioned today was, and I think it was one of the individuals that spoke in public comment, and I've heard this before, that some of the individuals on the current city commission were there when all this transpired. And you've been there for a long, long time. Commissioner Gowan has been there for a long time. Commissioner Galonsky, not as a commissioner, she was involved in the Tanaska. Let me tell you, uh, I feel that a big old chunk of the weight falls on Commissioner Golonsky. And I think she knows it. You could tell by her facial expression, which she tries to hide with a mask. because I see her everywhere without a mask, but then she goes in front of the commission and puts on a mask. I think that's ridiculous. Show your face. I mean, you were on the PUB board. We have videos. You were on the PUB board. Show your face. But anyway, um, what a lot of individuals are trying to say that y'all should have known better, Commissioner. Y'all should have known better. Was it because of the deceit that was brought forth by Brusiak, Mayor Martinez, other people in management, that they didn't produce the complete facts to you all, that y'all voted or believed that everything was on the up and up?
I have to be very careful with the way I say this, but I want to take you back to the beginning in 2013. I was elected 2011. I want to say these first meetings started in 2012. And a lot of people say, oh, she's not that smart. She's, whatever, whatever. But here, in a room full of PUB board members and city commission members at the time we were the majority female, the only female majority board in, I think, South Texas. And so we're all sitting there, and they presented to us. And what was specifically told to us, if I remember correctly, was we're going to do these increments. And at the same time, we're going to be selling and trying to bring these customers so that we can create this power plant. A certain percentage had to be put by the PUB ratepayers in a pot so that when these customers came in, bought in and bought part of the power plant with us, whatever, became clients of ours, it would all be ready to go. And so they showed us the rate increases over the years, and they were very large steps. Mind you, this is the time when we're coming out of a recession. This is the time, if you think back, when people were being locked out of their homes. This was not just something you were seeing on the news. On almost every street in this town, we know of a home that was repossessed, right? A family that lost their home during that time. So you bring this to me, and my question was, why are we doing this at this time? Like, what is the significance? So you had the BDC, you had all of these people coming forward telling us that there were these projects that were coming and they couldn't come if they didn't have power, and a lot of very big names, and just, we can't tell you exactly what the project is because you're not privileged, and you'll go and tell somebody and you'll ruin it, and we have all these other cities watching, so it has to be confidential and we can't tell you anything. So that was the situation. So there was always some type of shroud of secrecy. They would tell you it was urgent, but they wouldn't tell you the whole story. So it became
Okay.
that. And so my personal issue, when I say that I had all these questions and they were never answered, was, why can't we hold off on the rate increases until we know for sure that we have customers that are buying into this project? Because if it's not going to go, why are we wasting our time and raising rates? And another question was, what if this doesn't work? What's going to happen to that money? So there was this urgency to create this pile of money over several years to have there, because it was our, what's the word I'm looking for that I was told? Um, it was our responsibility to be able to pay cash up front to have this facility built. And so my issue from the beginning was, if you can show that you're selling, if you can show that companies are willing to sign and give us something in writing, some type of commitment, then it's worth pursuing. Otherwise, I just have concerns. And so, right off the get go, I think that's where myself, we started getting, I started getting a lot of pushbacks and comments like, well,
Well,
if you're not smart enough to understand that this is good for Brownsville, then you probably don't have any business being here. So you would ask a question that was valid, and that was the type of response that one would receive. And so, how can that not be alarming? So eventually it
Commissioner,
passes. Go ahead.
was this during the time that the mayor used the B word on you?
One of the times, I don't remember exactly when, but I,
Yes. But let me let me
it's
let me, let me ask you this. let me ask you this because I remember those. I remember this time. Uh, so with all this, shroud of secrecy that they were out there and not giving y'all all the information, did y'all still vote for it? Did y'all vote yes for it, even though there was certain doubts in it, or did y'all vote no for it?
They decided to have a special meeting. I had my concerns and my reservations. I was not going to vote for it in favor. And so, about a couple of days later, I was walking through the hall, and a PUB executive comes up to me and shakes my hand and says, "Thank you for your support." I said, "Okay, you're welcome." I didn't know what was going on. And that is when I found out that they had had a special meeting. And I was never even made aware that the meeting was going to happen. So they voted on it without me so that it would be unanimous. And I remember seeing articles where they were bragging that it was unanimously passed. Um, I can't even.
Quick
Very,
question though, were you the only one missing from that meeting?
I believe so. And then to see now the emails about greasing wheels and things like that, it makes me feel like I was not greased, so I was not invited.
Oh, so what? And again, just to clarify, 'cause I made this as not assumption because it's clearly states in the audit. Individuals on the commission and on the PUB board, their wheels were greased, and the way that the audit reads is they had dangled that proverbial carrot in front of it. So we know for a fact that commissioners were on the take and PUB board members were on the take.
I couldn't say because I don't have that information, but
But that's what the
wholeheart-
audit said.
I can wholeheartedly tell you it was not me, and I was not at that meeting, and I don't have any where I was ever invited to it or even told. It was a special meeting.
Quick
Whenever they have
question.
special meetings,
After all of that, like, and I understand you were trying to ask questions and they kind of kept giving you the runaround. Did you do any like further questioning after it passed, or did you let anybody know like if it that it was kind of fishy or kind of shady what they were doing, or it was like I passed and like there's nothing more we can do?
once that happened, it fell into PUB hands. So the PUB board at that time completely took over. I want to say it was months, maybe even years. The next thing I heard was personally my husband opening the bill and saying, "What just happened? Why is our bill this high?" And then getting calls from everybody else. Jessica, my light bill is so high. What's going on? What's going on? And I was always concerned from the get go. People have this idea that we also don't pay these high bills. I have businesses, I have my home, and I was part of that too. So it's even harder to see that going on and to have your hands tied and not be able to, sometimes I don't know if any of you have ever had those nightmares where you're screaming and screaming and screaming, but like nobody can hear you. That's what it felt like because I remember at that time having conversations with bloggers, having conversations with Erasmo. I'm sorry, I take it back. I do not talk to bloggers, but I have a friendship with Erasmo, and I was very close to him during that time. So I remember having these conversations and trying to get it out into the Herald. How many customers have come online? At that time, we had a very young commission. Commissioner Villarreal also had a lot of questions. Commissioner Longoria, we all just started like, what's going on? Like, give us the status. Tell us what's happening. And the response was always, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming, hold off. So,
Let me ask what Jasmine is asking because this is a very very good question, and I know that well I'm not going to say this but I'll let you respond to this. I know that you have had some of the issues with the ethics committee as well in regards to it's been used weaponized against you. I remember correctly. With that said, we have a code of ethics committee. What's the point of having one if it couldn't be prevented with all the years it took? Why did it have to resort footing the bill for an audit to get straight answers? And again, I think I want to make a difference in regards to the ethics committee deals with the city commission and the city of Brownsville, but not necessarily with the PUB. Uh, Let me ask: should it expand to where it covers other boards and committees?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There needs to be accountability. There needs to be that trust there. One of the things with the ethics committee is it can be weaponized and it can create a lot of red tape. Um, but on the other hand, when you have a situation like this, you're able to stop it. You don't just sit there screaming with nobody hearing you. So I think it absolutely does need to expand into GBIC, BCIC, PUB, all of these boards that are dealing with millions of dollars, and they're people that are not elected.
Yeah.
So they need to have some type of accountability.
Well, let me ask you in regards to a lot of the boards and the committees that you made mention to. Something that we found out in the audit report was that a lot of the individuals that were entrusted with being the consultants for PUB, attorneys, they went off, they made a killing. They made a killing, and we're not only Eddie Trevino, who we know made $2 million from this whole deal. Also, Ambiotech, got a big old. I think it was the third highest amount out there. This is just one project. Just one project. How many other projects these guys have their hands in, towards they also got a buck? But more importantly, why didn't anyone raise red flags in the past once a lot of these individuals were making a buck? This guy Brugiak, increased his salary by 100, $200,000 during the Tanaska time. I mean, no one was concerned about them giving themselves those raises.
That's not the case, although I hear that being said a lot. And I think that's very unfair to commissioners who came before, who fought very hard for this, even people that I'm not very fond of. But the situation is that once you appoint a PUB board member, they're basically untouchable because you need that unanimous vote to remove them, and you can only remove one per year. So how do you find that accountability with PUB with the deception going on? I mean, it just there were I'm not saying that I was the only commissioner that had these concerns. It was very valid. There were other commissioners that fought very hard, went to PUB meetings, tried to get information. Information would slip from board members who would come and tell us, you need to look into it. Something is wrong, whatever.
Yeah, but it was weaponized. And going back to the ethics, it was weaponized. The ethics committee was weaponized against you. I remember very, very vividly.
Yes.
Not the only thing that was weaponized against you. They did put forth. Uh, they did put forth. You know, change the charter in order to get you out of office.
Yes, they did.
Very, very clear. They did, and that was the reason to it. And look, and you talk to these individuals, outside of it, and they'll brag about it that we got it to get her off the city commission.
Mhm.
You agree with that, right?
I do, because the way that it happened was that it would allow Dr. Rose Gowan to run for one more term, but it would cut me off and throw me out of the commission.
My question now is why did it take this in order for anyone to bring forward anything in regards to removing this power from PUB? If there was concerns in regards to Tanaska, there were concerns in regards to the Brugiak's raise, there were concerns in regards to North Golonsky. And let me tell you, I think North Golonsky should go to jail. Concerns in regards to all these people. Why was the charter not look? And let's be honest, Commissioner. Commissioner Ben Neese was the one that went after you in regards to the charter change. In regards to get you this, one of Ben Neese's main screams, Tanaska, Tanaska, Tanaska. Instead of going after you, why didn't they use all that energy and all that hoopla 4 years ago to change the charter for PUB? Why didn't y'all do that back then?
That's a good question. There were a lot of charter review members that were appointed by that commission of the past. and that's what they came back with.
But
And
don't y'all present to the charter committee that as the commission? These are the concerns. This is what we want to get changed on, because he was the one that pushed for that. He and I can't remember who else it was, but there was two or three individuals, maybe even Rose Gowan, that pushed in order to get rid of you. Tony Martinez maybe even pushed that to get rid of you. So what does it take? What would have it taken back then for commissioners to say, "Hey, well then let's take care of Tanaska deal" back then instead of now?
that's a good question for them. Hopefully someday it's answered.
But did you ever bring it up in regards to, hey, let's change the Tanaska, let's change not Tanaska, let's change charter in order to get PUB
Um,
board members?
During that time, no, because as you know, when somebody's coming after you, that's like they were like trying to jail me. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember that.
Um, there were a lot of threats and but there was a lot of intimidation and threats. So it just was like not a good time. But I will say that there were several commissioners. I can say for a fact, Commissioner Rick Longoria was very adamant. We had a joint meeting with PUB. I remember Rick yelling, "Shut it down."
I was there.
Cesar de Leon also was furious and very much questioning, and he was not in favor of it. I mean, we had had enough. How can you go on that long and nothing? And so myself included, I wanted to know how much of the money they had spent, because it was very hard to figure out why they wouldn't just let go or give up. And so that was we didn't have the power to shut down Tanaska. So we would have these joint meetings with the PUB board, and that was what we had. And I can't remember, I guess it would have been Commissioner Munguia. I feel like at that time, the majority of the commission, that I'm remembering that one meeting, it was a joint meeting. Part of it was public and part of it was executive session. So I have to be real careful because I can't remember which parts were which to reveal publicly. But I felt like the majority of the commission was just done with it and get out of here, give the money back. What have you spent? This tried to happen, I want to say in 2016, 2017. But for some reason, it just didn't. Fizzled out. Well, it was blocked. It was blocked. And
by who?
That's a good question. We'll have
Tony
to.
Martinez, Nurit Golansky.
I
The
think
same way.
the audit is very clear about what they found during those times. There's an entire page dedicated to what happened there.
The same way that she did not vote against the audit.
That's something you have to ask her.
Well, it's open record.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing because you would think that she had knowledge. She was there on the PB board. We trust these people to make the best decisions. We trust them to represent us. But it was very hard. And I remember specifically working really hard to try and figure out who was for, who was against, who would do something, it was like a chess game, trying to figure out which board member, who we could appoint to go in there and come back with answers, or have it shut down and return the money and settle it. But everybody that we would appoint would come back and just no.
Greased wheels.
That was my experience. And I don't mean to disparage anybody or make enemies. I'm just saying that it was really hard. Just painting a picture.
But let me ask you then, in regards to the grease wheels and to everything else on there. Look, we know for a fact that the previous PUB board, which included Mayor Martinez, tainted, and it's on the audit. They're corrupt. And if Commissioner Golonsky were on the PUB board right now, we'd be screaming for her to get off, right? Because she was a yay person for anything Tony Martinez was out going out there doing. We have the same issue with the current PUB chair, Sandra Sines. She's a puppet of Tony Martinez, you know, appointed by these same people, by the same little clique that now, are very out there supportive of the current mayor. But that's okay. But is the public demanding that Sandra Sines be removed unanimously by the city commission today? Is that really far fetched?
No, I would have thought if that were myself, I would have resigned.
Yeah, we were hoping that that Langley chick, we were hoping that they were going to do the right thing, instead of exposing the community to more hurt. You
But I
know,
will also say this, that we have a lot of law enforcement, state, federal, who are public servants as well. They wake up every day knowing that they have been entrusted to protect and serve the community. And I feel very, I think we saw it like in the Atkinson trial, that everything elected officials do, myself, everybody, everything we do is always, they know they're very smart, very, very smart, and they're always ahead of everything. Um, so I sleep well at night knowing they're there, knowing that they are aware of the situation. And I feel very hopeful that I feel very hopeful that if the PUB board, I'm trying to find the right words without saying the wrong thing. Um, I feel very
hopeful
confident
that they will get indicted.
that they are going to move. This is crazy. That
Yeah.
if, yeah, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just very scared to say it.
No, no, I agree. I agree that they all should be indicted. But let me say this. We have that Langley chick there. I mean, she's been on every little corrupt board that we've had. She was over there in Colombia next to the mayor, on those damn bikes, you know, living it up. Commissioner, we spent some $20 million on that project, if I'm not mistaken. We got nothing from it, and it's the same people, Commissioner Langley, Signs. It's always the same people over and over and over and over again, but no one says anything.
It's very disappointing. I hope, if anything, the community learns, and you've said this for years, but I hope this is a really good example of it. We have these people that come in and they say, "Oh, I have a doctorate. I have, I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. I'm this very distinguished person." And we had people come in and say, "I'm friends with whoever," and it really ultimately is what's in your heart. Those are the people that you should trust. The Maybe somebody who is raising their children and considered a housewife. That's absolutely what we need on the commission. We need voices from every aspect. We need community members to come forward and represent. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, you have to be connected and you have to have money to run. That's not the case. You have to have goodness in your heart. You have to truly, truly love the city of Brownsville. And when you have it in your heart, the community can see it. And that's another thing that I've said to Nazca. It's funny, like, the people handled it. Tony came in third, right? So people are very, very smart and they can see through somebody very quickly. And um,
But quick question though, if you think, my question is like, if they get somebody like this, like a average Joe person, don't you think they'll be feel kind of intimidated because if they get treated like the way they treated you, calling you this and that, and not well informed? Because the common average person doesn't know how the political process and all the meetings and all that stuff. Even though you get trained afterwards, but don't you think they'll be feel intimidated easily? Not
I
that I don't want an average Joe, by all means. We want like a regular person that has a connection to the community and the commission. But when you have a bunch of like sharks that kind of like what we have right now, telling them like, oh, don't do this and don't do that, and thank you for endorsing us or thank you for voting our way. Do you think there might be a little bit more issues?
the commission has had a major overhaul. The commission now, it's not it's not like it was before. Everybody here is looking for solutions. Everybody here wants a better tomorrow.
Not
This was
not Golonsky.
well, I feel like the temperature has changed. I feel like the
Yeah.
temperature has changed, and we have people that love
Like
Brownsville.
people can see like who's actually doing stuff for the community and who's just stagnant, um,
I want to
not
be
doing
very
much.
I want to be very clear. These terrible times and the intimidation and that ugliness that I felt and was scared to go to work, and I just was, be very honest, there were times that I was very scared.
And
Um,
question: did you proceed with any like criminal actions towards them with those threats, or you just left it at is because you felt even more threat if you would have proceeded with it?
um, I think I did pursue some, and yeah. So
Well,
I really don't
Commission,
want to get into it, but that all of that ugliness and that was in the past, and that's why I have been very vocal throughout all of these years, and I will not support somebody unless I know there is that goodness in their heart.
I don't think there's goodness in the heart of Golonsky.
I supported Rick Longoria in that race. And Rick was not somebody that I liked for a long time. We were like enemies for years. Like we'd laugh about it now. Um,
Rick is one of those guys you just don't always like.
but you know what? Rick has always had that kindness for that love for Brownsville in his heart. You can say whatever you want to say about Rick, but he had that.
Rick is Rick. It was expanded last year. Ethics Committee now covers PUB, GBEC, BCIC, BOA, BNS commissions. Then why didn't the Ethics Committee look into it last year? Or did we get the audit because of the Ethics Committee?
I really like these auditors. I think they did a great job. I wish that it would have been a tool that we had resources to for other issues that came about throughout the city. I think you've mentioned like Lincoln Park, and Tanaska was not the only rodeo that was happening at that time. So, as much as I do love the ethics commission and committee and the way that that is structured, I think that an outside auditor is always probably your strongest tool.
There's a lot of support from you, Mr. Troy. I know that you're stressed with facing us. I personally want to hug you. That's very nice. I've never gotten a hug from Yasmin, so hey, power to you.
See me come hug.
Golonsky,
You didn't read the rest, bro.
but
No se trouble.
Golonsky was the treasurer at the PUB board. She held the money and moved on. Let me say, I guess we agree that Sandra Science should be removed from PUB. We agree on the charter change. Very good. I think one of the things that I'm going to start to disagree with the current commission, who now has the heart in the right place. We don't only want $29 million back. We want everything back. Is that too far fetched?
No. In ways, the commission, it would come back and forth, and they would do things with fuel surcharge and things like that, and give they would it's like I can talk about it and get confused like mid sentence because it's just hard to explain. But they were using Tanaska money to help with fuel costs and things like that during certain times. So there are ways that it was given back to ratepayers, which is why I wanted um, an auditor to, or some type of way to see every single house, to know what have we given back, what efforts have been made from that Tanaska money, to deduct it from what that amount people are owed. So maybe that helps. I don't know.
Well, and that was explained to us in regards to we've already been giving some of it back. That's not what we were sold. What we were sold is economic development, great things for Brownsville, provide more than 100 million in tax revenue for local steel districts, seated Brownsville and other taxing districts over a 30-year lifetime. We were promised all this. So it's like an investment. So we were scammed because the investment that we were going to give because of the $135 million that we gave was going to be exponentially like 10 times that amount. That's the benefit that was going to come to the city of Brownsville. It didn't happen. They knew it wasn't going to happen. Then we should get our money back completely. Now, that they ultimately decide, and this is one of the things that Mayor Martinez went out there and said. He goes, "Well, I think that they should just keep the money." Well, fancy do to you too, Bubba. It's not your money, and it's not the city commission's money. It's not PUB's money. It's the people of Brownsville's money. And in that time, during that time, we had individuals that lost their homes. Lost loved ones, couldn't pay for medicine because of the rates that had been increased because we were going to get Tanaska. We got nothing. So now we want it back. Now that PUB ultimately went out there and says, well, we're going to use your money, City of Brownsville, to give out crumbs to the people. We didn't approve that. The money that we gave or that was taken from us was for Tanaska. Tanaska's not there anymore. Give us back our money. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And what's fair is fair. And I think that I'm really glad that the community has been so vocal. I'm really glad that the community dissected all 69 pages of that audit. It's very important that people understand their voices need to continue with this. I just made the comment the other day, like, oh, so PUB now gets to tell us what we can have. So, like, do we understand? But like, okay. But and I know that we cannot bankrupt PUB. There are people that work there and we love them. The anger is not at the people that work at PUB. The anger is that it needs to be made whole, and the community were victims of, they knew it wasn't coming and they didn't come forward. Boils down to that. You can argue the audit, you can argue whatever, but it is what it is.
Is there been talk, or are you all fearful that the citizens of Brownsville are going to file a class action lawsuit?
I can't talk about anything legal like that, but I just don't know.
But it makes sense, no, for people of Brownsville to want to get together and get their money back.
I can't. I can understand that.
If our commissioners are afraid to make moves for fear of retaliation of safety, that should tell us the degree of corruption. Do you agree, Commissioner?
I don't feel that way now, but I've seen some pretty crazy things, and I know that you have too.
Yes.
I know that there are many of us here in the community that have stories, and the only thing that makes me is that God sees everything, and that we do have um, federal law enforcement protecting us.
Right now.
Just in general, I mean, throughout all of these times, you'd have to know that they saw the things that were going on.
Okay. Well, then now we know that the feds are involved in this and the state is involved. Do you think that people are playing nice now? Like all these other corrupt commissioners, all of a sudden they're not corrupt anymore. All these PUB, they're all corrupt because now they know that the law enforcement is watching very, very closely. Could that have been the reason that right now, everything is kumbaya?
I can't answer that, but I will say that that I'm glad that people are aware and they should take this responsibility more. Um,
It would have been nice if they were aware back then when it was actually happening.
it was crazy times, but
Okay.
like I said, the mission eventually
Yeah.
washed out. There are new people. The community was very, very adamant. I mean, it's very rare to see so many politicians, incumbents, not come back. We had several of them. Just the community knows. Citizens, I get very upset when they say like, "Oh, Brownsville is the least educated," and things like that. Because you have a degree on the wall hanging does not determine your intelligence. People in Brownsville are very smart and they
Well,
know.
would you?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we're in the middle of an election process right now. Would you agree that all incumbents need to be voted out?
That's hard because um, this commission is not the old commission.
Well, no, no. In the race we have right now, do you believe that
Oh,
all incumbents should be voted out?
so
BISD, county,
oh,
everyone.
I think there. See, that's a hard question for me. I think that there are some obviously that need to go, very obviously. But I think there are people in the community that care very deeply about what they do and they work very hard. And I think that those people deserve to be in those seats. And yeah.
What What about Eddie Trevino?
Why are you putting me on the spot like this?
Well, he was involved in Tanaska. He was a dirty player. Not a big old check. And I mean, it's all over the news. Should someone like that come back as county judge?
Just to confirm, was he stating that he was a consultant, just a consultant, or he was just like the lawyer? I don't recall because I'm trying to I guess like because he was also pushing the arena, so I'm wondering like you're just pushing everything and then everything kind of is not gonna go through. So I'm kind of like glad the arena didn't go through.
I will say this that I have a lot of friends. And when I read the audit, I was very disappointed. Uh,
But were
there,
you surprised though?
yes, the audit had a
You
lot
were
of things.
surprised?
I was very
I
well.
was.
I knew something was wrong, but not of that level, not of that,
Yeah, yeah.
not of that
I, I,
magnitude.
I'll agree with you there. I was not surprised at the players, but I was a little bit like at how thorough this audit was. I mean, y'all did a great job in regards to getting this audit out there. But I was surprised at how thorough it was and the wording that it used. Amazing. Carlos Marin is a big player on this. He's been trying to get his hands in Brownsville for a long time, and he has his hands in a big old part of Brownsville for a while now. He finally did that with Tanaska. Well, he's one of the vendors. Yes, Ambiotech.
Ambiotech does a lot of work for a lot of people. I mean, they're an established firm, so
Do
to
you
me,
think you think it's right that Jude Benavides, with his relation to Ambiotech, should be on the PUB board?
Jude is my appointment, and I would hope that if there is a conflict of interest, that he
His
would
wife,
not be involved in that.
his
Um,
wife works for Ambiotech,
I was not aware of that. That
and he
if
gets
that is true, that is extremely disappointing. I'm
and
gonna
he
look.
gets and he gets contracts through Ambutech. He does work for Ambutech. I mean,
I I was always aware that he worked with UTRGB. That was my. I thought that he was an educated man. That um,
But do you think he
he's a
would have
20.
brought it up though? Like a sincere person, I'd be like, hey, just to let you know
It's a conflict,
why he
or
works
at
here,
least
like during an
provide,
interview process.
yeah, or at least like this commission, or at least provide a conflict of interest for him. Hey, here's my conflict of interest. I'm going to abstain, but he didn't. He
Because we all
awarded.
know him through the whole UTRGV as a great professor, especially Erasmo knows he's a great professor.
I, he
But he
was
would
my
have, he
professor.
should have mentioned that. That could
He
have
was
been
my
something to
professor.
be like, hey, this information is kind of useful.
and I should also mention that on many boards, I have tried to appoint other people from the community, and I just did not have the support of the commission. I think I'm one of the most voted down commissioners ever when it comes to appointment. Just you. I don't think he was my first choice. I don't remember, but
I,
I've had
I
several
know.
boards.
nominated me to be on GPEC and
Yeah,
didn't
they.
get a second. I remember that.
I mean, I
But
tried. So people always like, oh, she only appoints her friends. I mean, no.
see, and up to 30 full-time, well-paying jobs during operations. Yeah, we got nothing from Embitech, from these guys. Uh, well, very, very sad situation. Yeah, it is a very sad situation for everybody. We need a commissioner that were willing to stay on the fire and stay clean and stand up to corruption. We need to pray for our leaders because obstacles are placed. We need to pray for our leaders, placed and placed for those who want to do the right. Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the comments because our hour is up. You're right. Evasive. Please ask Mr. Cho if PUB had, do you know if PUB had insurance for this fraudulent fiasco?
I don't know. But I thought that insurance didn't cover fraud.
I don't, I maybe some, maybe, but I think you're right. I think that they're going to, if there was any fraud involved, they're going to, say we can't pay. They have to pay.
I want to leave
Well,
the
this,
public on this note. I think the commission that we have now, most of them, um,
not,
have their heart in the right place. And this like horror story that I just told you, it's not there anymore. And I really want to thank the public for doing their due diligence, for being involved in every election,
but wait,
for out in voting.
North Galanski was part of. North Galanski was a part of giving that hurt on you and to our city. She was a part of it. We know she was. She was the one that was conniving with Ben Neese in order to go after you with the ethics committee and to get you out of the office. She hasn't had a change of heart. Rose Gowen was another one that connived with them and with Tony Martinez. I just don't see her having a change of heart.
I will say that
They
I'm
went
very.
after you. They went after you, Commissioner. You know that. They went after you. And you know what? This is what really pisses me off. They didn't do it hiding. Did it out in the open. So I won't defend them if I was you. I'd go F them if I was you. Screw them.
The only friends
Because
I have, the only
they not only hurt the community, they hurt you while you were on the city commission as a commissioner.
the only friends and people in my life that I trust and have immense love for are my constituents, because no matter what I went through, the darkest days, um, they supported me and always brought me back. And in very words cannot explain how much that means to have support after going through all of that and after the things that I've seen. And I think that you can probably say this the same with your followers. At the end of the day, it's very lonely, and those are the people that care about you, and those are the people that pick you back up when you're on the floor crying. And I've had that crying in my bathroom uncontrollably, just because you come here to make a difference because it's in your heart and you want a better Brownsville. You're tired of the sports parks and the fly fronteras and the Titan tires, and you're just tired. You're tired of the abuse. You're tired of people that don't care. You're tired of, this little Red Riding Hood story of the wolf, pretending to be the grandmother. And you want to make a difference, and you want to raise your children in a place where they have opportunity, where they have things like rockets launching out of their backyards and libraries full of books and good schools and awesome streets, and when it rains it doesn't flood. You want to come here and you want to do that. And nobody expects to have just this weird political temperature, and but that doesn't exist anymore. And so I'm there is no greater advocate of the people, because when I've had nothing, when I've been on the floor crying, when I've been on the floor devastated, all I had was my constituents and the people, and they've never left my side and they've always had my back.
So you
So
would agree with me. So you agree with me in saying screw Golonsky and screw Gowan. Let them rot in hell. Let them rot in hell.
blink if it's a yes.
They screwed the community. They try to screw
No,
with your.
but Dr. Gowan, she's a good she's a good person, and when it comes to
No,
Brownsville,
she's a Tony Martinez person because she was like
I was
this with
accused.
Tony.
I was accused today of being a Tony Martinez person, and that's just so bizarre
Oh,
to me. because-
I would argue that would be 100% not true. But she was a Tony Martinez person. She was used by Tony Martinez to come after you, Commissioner. You know that.
She
They
was the
vote.
fourth vote. She was the fourth vote on the term limits. She was.
Yeah, she was the pawn that they used. But it wasn't just in that, in everything else as well. And let me tell you, she knew what was going on with Tanaska. Golonsky knew what was going on in Tanaska. And that's what pissed me off. Commissioner, you're amazing. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do, Erasmo, and thank you for being the voice of the people. And you have a gift of bringing people together. And I just hope you know how important that is. And you got to do your job.
Yeah, that's all we
Don't
have to do. Sam, any other questions for the commissioner?
Not that I can think of right now, man. To be honest,
We appreciate
but
you coming on, Commissioner.
great
It's not
info,
easy.
though.
It's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy coming on and answering questions on the fly, but
Mm-mm.
you did a great job.
Being
you
in
so
the
much.
hot seat is not easy,
I know. It's like an interrogation, man.
and then you got to
Keep
be
on
careful
fighting.
with what you say because
Very
I guess you're still on that. Oh yes, one question. Um, for next year, the mayor race. Are you thinking about it?
Everybody asks me that. Like every day I get asked, I'm not even joking, like at least 5 different times. I love Brownsville so much. The city has tremendous people, like I said, that have been the only thing that I've ever had. My constituents mean the world to me. So walking away from the city is probably going to be one of the most painful things that's ever happened to me. And I guess we'll just have to see. I don't know. I'm in a place.
Yes.
No, that's not a yes. That's not a yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, I love the city so much that I don't.
Like, if you would have like more support, would you like consider it like more wholeheartedly, like running?
It's not about support. It's not about support because every day I have people coming to me and telling me like my family will vote for you, whatever you need.
Yeah.
But for me, what it is honestly is if I felt the right people were there, like I would just be so happy retiring and living here and enjoying the things that Brownsville is, because I've given 12 years of my life, and that's my whole adult life,
Mhm.
to the city.
I thought you were like 22 years old.
I am.
Thanks, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
All you do.
Guys, have a great evening. Thank you, Commissioner, again. Guys, any
Bye.
other questions, contact Commissioner Tetreault through her social media pages. Guys, very, very grateful that the commissioners are willing to come on, and it's not easy, guys. It's not easy answering questions, and it's very, very appreciated. And it just shows that individuals want to be transparent, want to be upfront, want to tell you as much as humanly possible because of restrictions that they might have. Guys, have a great, great evening. Social distance, face covering, hand sanitizer. Guys, go out and vote. Go out and vote and take other people out to vote.
I was about to say that. Take people.
And get rid of all the damn incumbents. They all got to go. Commissioner Tetreault said so. Guys, be good to each other. See you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.